Hello guys, so today we are going to make the Hangman game in JavaScript. So we gonna use JavaScript only to make this whole game. So in the right hand side of the screen you can show the Hangman game right over here. I am just gonna refresh it and play it once again. So you can see that game is uh, running if I am clicking on the buttons. So let's discuss the code behind this game. So I am already on the Visual Studio Code on the left hand side of the screen as you can see. So first of all just uh, make an empty folder inside your desktop or inside your any folder. So I am just going to rename it to Hangman. Just type Hangman here. Hangman. So the folder is already existed. The desktop already contains the folder name. So I just need to name this again Hangman 1. So I think it's okay now. So let's drag this folder in the Visual Studio Code. So yeah. So now we are going to make the Hangman game using JavaScript. So first of all, let's make the index.html file over here. I think I will give you the index.html and CSS files because we are not going to discuss the HTML part and the CSS part over here. We only gonna focus on the JavaScript part. So I will link the code just in the description of this video. Just copy and paste the code, only the HTML and CSS part. So we will move forward with the JavaScript part. So let's copy the code from my video description. Hello guys, welcome again to my video. So I hope you downloaded all the files in the video description. So now we are going to code the whole game in JavaScript. Before that, let me move toward the index.html part of the code. So in the bottom of the code, there is a script source called index.javascript. So you just need to make a file called index.javascript, or if you don't want to make a file, you just need to press Control plus click here and the Visual Studio will automatically make a file for you. So now we are going to write the whole code in JavaScript. So I hope the other files you already downloaded the other two files index.css which is containing the CSS part and words.js which is containing almost 3000 some words. I don't remember the exact 3426 words. So in the Hangman game, basically we are gonna guess the words from this dictionary. So every time we are playing the game, a word from this dictionary is chosen randomly. So we are going to move it to the index.js file. So let's start the coding part. So first of all, in the game, we see that there is a random word from the dictionary. So we're gonna generate this random word from this words.js file. For that, first of all, we're gonna make the random function, which will choose a random word from the words. Function, we're gonna name it maybe random. Uh, Random is good word. Random, which is going to take two parameters, and it's going to return main.floor main.random deployable b minus a plus 1 plus a. So we made the random function over here. Guys, we just now gonna check the random function is if it is working or not. We just gonna console log it random and provide two numbers 1 and maybe 5, 1 and comma 5. So for that, first of all, we gonna go live to check the result. So now we are in the game. So let's inspect the game. Go to console. Yeah, we are getting right answer 2, and this just refresh it again 4. So every time I am refreshing this page, a number is random number is chosen between 1 and 5. So the limit is 1 and the upper limit is 5 and the lower limit is 1, and a number between these two limits is chosen randomly by this random function. So in the code we can see that math.random is giving a floating point number between 0 and 1, which is going to be multiplied by the difference of these both numbers, and a plus 1 and a plus a. So basically this function is going to return us a number between a and b. So we already made this function, so now we gonna use this function to get a random word from the words.js file. So let's write constant. Let's name the word as the word. Since words is an array, so we're gonna use the random function over here, 0, and the upper limit is words.length minus 1. So now I think everything is good. Let's console log this function, the word. So yeah, here you can see that the hold is over here, and if I refresh the page, origin is here. So every time I am refreshing the screen, a random word just pops in the console. You can see the random word is being selected from this words.js file by getting help from this random function. So next we're gonna make further functions and variables. So let's make the letter, because there you can see there are letters lying over here. So we're gonna make all the letters from A to Z. Let me just copy here. Yeah. So next we're gonna make the guesses, because the user is gonna guess the number. So let's make the guesses array. It should be a constant. Initially the guesses array is empty because when the user starts the game, the guesses array should be empty. So when he starts the game, every word he clicks is gonna pushed into the guesses array. So there should be a game state which is deciding whether the game is ended, whether the game is won or lost. Let game state will be equal to 0. 0 for the game is continue, 0 is game is continue, and 1 is the game is win, and 2 is the game is lose. So these are our variables. So next we're gonna define a function which will give us the number of wrong guesses, because we are going to determine the number of wrong guesses to update our score over here. So function get number of wrong guesses. So this function is gonna return a number. Return guesses dot filter. So in the guesses we are storing our guess numbers. So this function is going to filter the guesses in which the alphabets of the words are not present. Length. So let's check. So we are randomly putting some alphabets inside this guesses array, so we can check the function of this get number of wrong guesses function. So here we already guessed two numbers. We just put it manually over here. So console log get number of wrong guesses. There is a issue in our code. The words is not a word. It's the word. Yeah. So here you can see that the number of wrong guesses is one. Means A or B is already one of them is already present in the word and one of them is not present in the word. Let me do like this. Console log. First we will just output the word. Yeah, the word is two and the word is though and the wrong is are two. Since neither A is present in the word or neither B is present in the word, so the number of wrong guesses is going to be two. So if we refresh the page, pen is also two, sun is also two, powder is also two, white two, border one. So B is already here in our wrong guesses, so B is gonna be not counted, and the other one, two, three, four, five are gonna be counted as our wrong guesses. So I hope till now everything is clear. So let's remove these checking functions. Okay guys, next we're gonna define two more functions. First function is win. So this function is gonna decide is the game is won or not. So it will just return. It will just going to check that every alphabet which is present in the word is also in the guesses array or not. If it is present in the guesses array, we will get true, which means that the game is won. So return array dot from the word, because we are going to use the array from the word, not the string itself. Every every method is just checking every letter from the word. And we're gonna make another function called is lose. It's also having the same function but in opposite way. It's gonna check whether the game is lost or not. So this function is just going to return get number of wrong guesses. When the number of wrong guesses is greater than or equal to 9, this function is gonna be right and the game is lost. So let's check these functions. Console log is won is win. I mean to say it's win false because uh, there are no current words in the array that are going to be matched with the word. So every time I refresh the page, it's gonna be false. You can see in the right hand side. So now we're gonna check the is loose. Is loose is also false in the same way. Yes. You can see because the number of guesses are 0, which are already greater than equal to 9. So it's gonna be false. So it's gonna be false, yeah, because the number of wrong guesses is 0 over here, and if you put 0 over here, 0 is greater than 9, which is not greater than 9, so it's going to return false. So we just remove this one constant call from here. So we made the whole functions, we made the constants over here. So now we will just grab the constants from the index.html file. So first of all, we can see that uh, there is a div in HTML. We're gonna need this div, and this div is called the word, because the word is going to be fitted over in this section. So we'll just copy the word ID from the word, and we're gonna use it here in our index.html. So constant div word query selector. So we're gonna use this ID in our HTML. Just paste the name over here. And secondly, there are letters. Latest row, we're gonna use the letters ID from the index.html. This one. Constant, let's name it div letters. Document.query selector. Control V. One thing I forget to tell you guys, it's hashtag over here because we are selecting the ID. So the third constant will be the score. We first gonna copy the ID name, which is score. Control C copy, and now make a constant over here. Constant div score document query selector hashtag and paste the score over here. And one last thing also, guys, when the game is lost, a division just pops up on the screen which is showing that you lost the game, and if you won the game, a paragraph is showing that you won the game on the screen. So you're gonna just name that variable again, div win loss document dot query selector, and the id of that section is end of the game. Hashtag and control the end of the game. I think the variables are all declared, so the query is not defined at index 1. Oh, post and double side, what is this, guys? I think it's just a bug over here. Oh yeah, everything is clear here. So let's move towards the event listeners. So we just now gonna make the event listeners. So first of all, we are going to click on a alphabet which is represented by the div number, div letters. So we're gonna make a event listener on the div letters dot event listener, which is going to be click. The event is going to be click, and which will respond to a function. We will just call the function as onGuess. Now we will make the onGuess function onGuess, which is going to take a parameter called n. And here we can see that there are sections in between the alphabets. The very narrow gap. If you can touch on that narrow gap, it will also be subjected. So we don't want if the user touch on the section between the alphabets. So that's why we're gonna use the if statement over here. If e dot target dot matches the button, because e is the parameter over here. E dot target means if we pressed on any button, if our if we are clicking on a button which is matching with the target, so then we are going to execute the if statement. Otherwise we are not going to execute the if statement. So constant button will be equal to e dot target, and now we will read the input. Constant letter is equal to button dot inner HTML, because we're gonna need the inner part of the button, not the button itself. So up till now everything is fine. So we already got the user user guess inside of the button. So let's push the guess inside the guesses array. Process guesses dot push later. So the word is already guessed. So it is pushed inside our guest array. So now we are going to check if the game is won or not. So for that we're gonna run these two functions, is win or is lose. So we basically gonna make an if statement. If is win, if is win is true, we're gonna make the game state as one, and else if is lose is true, we're gonna make the game state of the function as two. So nextly we're gonna make the word render on the screen. For that we're gonna make the render function over here. Let's name the function as render word. We're gonna make the function body over here. Function render word. So here we're gonna select the word section of the HTML part, because we are going to work with this section. We already inputted the letter from this letter section, and now we're gonna use the word ID to just manipulate this section. We already made the word here. Control C, and we're gonna paste here. So inside the render word function, we will just check if uh, the alphabet from the word is present inside our guesses array. We're gonna just reveal it, and if it is not, we're gonna just remove it. So div word dot inner HTML array dot from the word dot map. We are going to use the map function here, because we're gonna map every alphabet from the word. So here we're gonna use the HTML part. For the HTML part we are using the backticks, and since the part is in the span ID, so we are going to use the span tag here. Span. So in the span section we are going to make the if tertiary operator, because we're gonna make the if else statement like in the tertiary operator. We just gonna look at here. Tertiary or ternary, I am confused every time. It's ternary, I think, not tertiary. Let's confirm it from the Google. Ternary operator. Condition ternary. Yeah, the word is ternary. Sorry guys. So I just every time I am forgetting between tertiary and ternary. So let's proceed. So here, if the game state of the game is true, and the guesses is not including the letter L, then the ternary operator, then the class of the span should be missing, because we want to hide the numbers. Otherwise, do nothing. So here in the game, you can see that if I am guessing any any alphabet correctly, it should be hidden like this. If I'm pressing on the B, if I'm clicking on the B, if the alphabet is inside the word, so next the the B alphabet inside the letter should be hidden. So I'm going to use the hidden property or missing property over here. So now inside the span, if the guesses includes L or the game state finish, then are going to reveal L. If the guess includes L or the game state of the game is true, then we're gonna reveal L again the urinary L, otherwise do nothing. So in the last we're gonna join this all the letters. So here is the render word function, guys. So let's save it. Yeah, we are not having any error out here. So let's make another function. Now we are going to make the render letters function because we need to render the letters after the guessing. So here we can write render letters. It's a function. So we're gonna make the body a function over here. Render letters. Sorry, let's write the function first. Render letters. So this function is gonna render all the words that we are clicking. If the clicked word is inside the word, then it's going to just make it hidden. So we again not be able to press on that button. So let's code the render letter function. So the render letter function is gonna use this div letters constant dot html. So this function is gonna check every alphabet from the letters and going to map it. So let me write the code over here. Here, since the letters inside the uh, alphabets inside the letter are buttons, so we're gonna write buttons here. So as a condition, you will just provide the data from outside like this. So in the condition, if the guess includes L, so there is a guesses array. We first defined it already. If the word is inside the guesses array, we just gonna disable it. So if the guesses contain or include L, we're gonna disable the button. Otherwise, we're gonna do nothing. For nothing, just write two quotes here. So in between the buttons, we're gonna display the letter L. So in last, we're gonna join all the letters by the join method. So that's the render letters. Let's control save it and check it if there are any bugs or mistakes. No, in the console. So every time if you are making any mistakes, so the console will notify you about the mistake. So till now we are having no mistakes. So I think let's move forward. So now we are going to render the score section because every time we are making some mistake, the score is going to be updated. So here we'll just write render score. So now we will code the render score function here. Function render score. So this function is just giving us the number of wrong guesses. So this will just going to use the div score constant. So here the score will be equal to number of wrong guesses. So we're gonna use the get number of wrong guesses function. So this is going to be divided by 9. So 9 is not changing, 9 is constant here. So let's save this function, and we are still having no errors, so that's nice. So now I think everything is okay. So we're gonna make two more functions. One is the render win loss. So if we win the game, a new display is popped up on the screen saying that I have won the game. And if I lose the game, so the new display is going to show me I lost the game. So we're gonna make the two functions. First is render win or loss, and the other is render SVG. Means the SVG part is for the Hangman. So first of all, we will make the render win loss. Let's make the render win loss first here. Render win loss. So now we move towards outside the function. Now we are going to make the render win loss function outside the statement. So function render win loss. So now we are going to check the game states over here. So if the game state is 0, we're gonna make it you won the game, and if it is 2, we're gonna make the loss you lost the game, like this. So first of all, let's check the game state of the game. If game state is greater than 1 or greater than 0, we're just gonna make the div win loss dot hidden false. Because if the game state is greater than 0, means if the game is running or if the game is ended, we're gonna make the div loss false, div win loss false. Nextly, if the game state is 1, if game state 1, so we're gonna make the screen you want div win loss dot inner HTML. Just bring the quotes here. We're gonna use the span because in the index.html win loss is using the span tag here. End of the game you win you lose. You can see the span out here. Span. So inside the span we have to write you won. So we're gonna make, I think we're gonna make a button for play again. So let's write button tag over here and play again. Let's put a small exclamation mark over here as well. So just copy this function, if statement, Control C, and paste the statement over here and make the posit. So if the game state is 2, we close the game, there is going to remain the same. So I think we did 90% of the code till now. I think everything is fine up till now. Supposed to see. There is a error target is not a function at HTML. So we're gonna bug over here in the 35. So let's move to us 35 line. So e.target is not a function. E.target. E.target is not a function. How is it possible? Let me check again what is here. E.target.matches. Type e.target is not a function at HTML element knowledge. So guys, just give me 2 minutes. I will come back and I will filter the bug over here. So yeah guys, I spotted the error over here. Yeah, because we mistakenly didn't write the two brackets with the cases, with the get number of wrong cases here. So now I think everything should be fine. So now we'll proceed with the code. So I think everything is fine. So last time we just complete the render win loss, and now we're gonna make another function called render svg, which is gonna render the hangman animation. So we're gonna make the render svg first inside our function. I mean to say the add event listener. So I already made the render function over here. You also need to make the render win loss, and after win loss you need to write the render svg function. So now we are going to make the render svg function over here. So first of all, we will just declare the function name as function render svg, and we're gonna make the constant because we're gonna need the number of wrong guesses inside the function. Constant c get number of wrong guesses. So it will going to provide us the wrong guesses. For loop. So we're gonna iterate for the by the for loop. So every time we make a mistake, the hangman is going to be updated. Document dot query selected. We're gonna use the svg element which we already written here. This line of code will just update the hangman again and again whenever we are making mistakes. So svg we're gonna use the $sign and bracket sign dot class list dot add show. So I think everything is fine. Now we're gonna call the functions. First of all, render the word, then render address, then render the score. So let's check the game over here. So you need to save the game and you're going to play. A is not in the, yeah, B code right, E is also right, P is not okay, N is also not okay. Let's guess, S is not good also. Let's guess guys. I is here, so believe. Let's guess. Yeah, the word is believe. The last letter is, oh my god, it's not believe, it's believe. Yeah. So we won the game. Let's again play the game and let's select the random words here to check that if we lose the game, it's gonna show us lose. Yeah, you lose. So I hope guys you did already. You caught with me everything. So thank you guys for sticking with me till this period. So have a nice day or evening and goodbye.